ministry says al-Moallem has received a message from Kerry through the Iraqi Foreign Ministry on targeting ISIS terrorists in Syria a few hours before the raids. Russia warns that those who have taken the initiative to carry out unilateral military scenarios will be held fully responsible for their consequences. The Syrian Arab army eliminates scores of terrorists in several areas and continues to advance in Jabhat and downtown Hadra. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Irado Krikorian from the News Center in Damascus. The Foreign and Expatriates Ministry affirmed in a statement released yesterday that Syria's permanent representative to the UN was notified a few hours before the beginning of the air raids that the USA and some of its allies will target ISIL terrorist organization in the places of its presence in Syria.
The Foreign and Expatriates Ministry has said that following Syria's recurrent affirmation and on several occasions of its readiness to cooperate in combating terrorism within the framework of full respect for its national sovereignty, and after several states did stand on its side, underlining the need to honor the UN Charter, which urges respect for state sovereignty and territorial integrity, Syria's permanent representative to the UN was notified yesterday that the USA and some of its allies will target the terrorist ISIL organization in the areas of its presence in Syria hours before the beginning of the raids. Later, and also yesterday, the ministry added, Foreign and Expatriates Minister Walid al-Moallem received a message from his American counterpart John Kerry through the Foreign Minister of Iraq, notifying him that the USA will target the terrorist ISIL organization's bases, some of which are present in Syria. Stressing the fact that it has been and still is fighting this organization in Al-Raqqa and Deir Ezzor and other areas, the Syrian Arab Republic, the ministry went on, emphasizes that it has not stopped and will never stop fighting this terrorist organization in cooperation with the states that are directly harmed by it, particularly Iraq. The Syrian Arab Republic also asserts within this context that coordination between the two countries is continuing at the highest level to strike terrorism in both states, which are standing in one trench to confront this organization in implementation of the UN Security Council's unanimously issued International Resolution 2170. The ministry concluded its statement saying that as the Syrian Arab Republic once more declares its support for any international effort that seeks to combat terrorism, whatever name it takes, whether the Islamic State, Jabhat al-Nusra or others, it affirms that this should be carried out with the full protection of innocent civilians' lives under the banner of national sovereignty and in conformity of international charters.
The American Defense Department, the Pentagon, has declared that the American Army and what it called the troops of the partner states have carried out a military action against ISIS terrorists in Al-Raqqa using fighter planes, rocket launchers and transcontinental Tomahawk missiles. The Pentagon said the decision to launch such strikes was taken yesterday by the command of the Central Military Zone. The USA and its partners also launched several air raids on the headquarters and gatherings of ISIL terrorist organization in Al-Boukamal, a Suwai'a village in Deir Ezzor eastern countryside, and a Tibna village in the governorate's western suburb at midnight last night. The people of Al-Boukamal said that the raids killed several ISIL members in the agricultural secondary school and the grains silos, as well as in a Suwai'a village. Many of their vehicles were destroyed. Also in At-Tibni, according to the inhabitants of Al-Boukamal, several ISIL terrorists were killed and their vehicles destroyed. In Idlib suburbs, the inhabitants of Kafar Daryan village said that the USA and its partners also targeted sites of the terrorist Jabhat al-Nusra organization in the village at dawn today, inflicting huge damage on the targeted positions. Meanwhile, Russia has underlined the need to combat terrorism on a comprehensive scale away from double standards. The Russian Foreign Ministry said that the meeting between Russian Deputy Foreign Ministers Mikhail Bogdanov and Gennady Gatilov with the UN Secretary General's Special Envoy to Syria, Stefan de Mistura, focused on the escalated terrorist activity in Syria and Iraq, which poses a big threat to the security of the region. The Foreign Ministry added that Mistura has notified the Russian side of its intention to conduct intensive contacts with Syrian sides as well as the capitals of the influential states, including Moscow, in order to find a way out of the Syrian crisis. The Russian side reiterated on its part its emphasis on the fact that there is no alternative to a political solution to the crisis through maintaining inter-Syrian dialogue on the basis of the Geneva Statement. A military source has said that as part of the Israeli Occupation Authority's support for the terrorist ISIS and Jabhat al-Nusra organizations, Israeli occupation troops have attacked and shot down a Syrian warplane. The Syrian Arab Army kills and wounds many terrorists in Aleppo, Homs, and Damascus suburbs.
In Aleppo and its countryside, Syrian Arab Army units eliminated a number of terrorists and targeted their gatherings in Al-Sheikh Saeed, Salah ad-Din, west of Al-Mansura, Mashhad, Al-Indarat, and Al-Azamiyah, and destroyed a number of cars, killing all the terrorists inside them in Queiris, Al-Jandoul, Mukhayyam Handarat, west of Oram, Hreitan, Khan Al-Asal, Babin, Al-Msalamiya, I'zaz, and Banan. In Homs and its countryside, Syrian Arab Army units eliminated a number of terrorists in the villages of Mas'ada, Unq al-Hawa, Sahrij, Al-Sultaniya, Ghreiba Farm in Tablisa town, and Al-Ghajar village in Al-Rastan, among them the leader of an armed terrorist group, Saddam Hamdan. The Syrian Arab Army unit also thwarted an infiltration attempt from Jisr al-Kharab towards the farms and groves of Al-Wa'ar, killing and wounding a number of them. In Damascus countryside, Syrian Arab Army targeted terrorist dens along the Syrian-Lebanese borders in Jurud al-Qalamun, eliminating dozens of them.
Syrian Arab Army units have made further progress inside Adr al-Balad town after imposing a besiege around it from all sides. A military source said that the Syrian Arab Army killed or wounded tens of the terrorists inside the town. Syrian Arab Army units have made further progress inside Adr al-Balad town after imposing a besiege around it from all sides. A military source said that the Syrian Arab Army killed or wounded tens of the terrorists inside the town and controlled the southwestern farms of the town, which is a strategic area as it is located between three axes, enabling the Syrian Arab Army units to cut off routes of supplying the terrorists with arms. In Jobar, in Damascus suburbs, the Syrian Arab Army continues to destroy terrorist fortifications and control more buildings, eliminating many of them inside their hideouts. In Damascus countryside, Syrian Arab Army units have controlled many posts close to At-Tiba town in Al-Kiswa area, killing a number of terrorists. At-Tiba town is important as it is located along many strategic roads like Dar'a's ancient road and Shakhab road leading to Kanakir and Golan, and also along Al-Kiswa Khan al-Sheikh road. The Syrian Arab Army units have managed to besiege the terrorists and cut off all of those roads. Austrian Interior Minister Johanna Michael Leitner has acknowledged that 30 Austrian terrorists have been killed in Syria out of 140 fighting along the terrorist organizations there. Michael said that 40 terrorists have come back to Austria and that some of them have been sentenced to imprisonment. Michael warned against a potential threat by those terrorists to Austria's internal security, adding that the Anti-Terrorism Bureau in Vienna was constantly surveying the terrorist activities and the extremist groups on the Austrian soil. Welcome back. In Lebanon, armed men have assassinated a Lebanese soldier and wounded 2 after attacking a military post in Al-Akuma district in Al-Badawi in Tripoli city at dawn today. A statement by the Lebanese army has indicated that the Lebanese army retaliated by exchanging fire with the armed men and besieged the district. Finally, Iraqi army has killed scores of the ISIL's terrorists and destroyed their vehicles in a military campaign to clean Tikrit city from all the terrorists. Iraqi military sources have indicated that the Iraqi army made a significant progress as elements of ISIL have fled to the farthest part of the city. In Kirkuk city, Iraqi Air Force has attacked ISIL dens and hideouts, killing 35 terrorists. With this, we conclude our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Nariman Qassam with Aftershock. Russia warns that those who have taken the initiative to carry out unilateral military scenarios will be held fully responsible for their consequences. The Syrian Arab army eliminates scores of terrorists in several areas and continues to advance in Jobar and downtown Hadra. Good afternoon, ladies. The Foreign Ministry says al-Moallem has received a message from Kerry through the Iraqi Foreign Ministry on targeting ISIS terrorists in Syria a few hours before the raids.
Ministry has said that following Syria's recurrent affirmation and on several occasions of its readiness to cooperate in combating terrorism within the framework of full respect for its national sovereignty, and after several states did stand on its side, underlining the need to honor the UN Charter, which urges respect for state sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Mirado Krikorian from the News Center in Damascus. The Foreign and Expatriates Ministry affirmed in a statement released yesterday that Syria's permanent representative to the UN was notified a few hours before the beginning of the air raids that the USA and some of its allies will target ISIL terrorist organization in the places of its presence in Syria.
The Foreign and Expatriates Ministry